everything would just fall.
Well, let's get to the freedom agenda. Let's talk the positive side. Let's talk the freedom agenda. The notion, we all argued about it at the time, that somehow if you broke Iraq, a bad Ba'athist administration, you could replace it with something like democracy. And then the neocons, the intellectuals would say this, and somehow that would spread around the region. That's annihilate. I haven't heard that argument.
No, well, because it obviously didn't work.
You had the Arab Spring, though, which is a much more rocky proposal.
No, I mean, look, to some extent, let's not forget the role of Ahmed Chalabi. And interestingly, I don't know if you saw...
The guy in the gold shoes and the gold pants.
The Iraqi exile, snake oil salesman.
You got it.
Called him at Newsweek at one point. But, interesting, Wolfowitz gave that interview the other day in the Sunday Times of London, and he's asked about Chalabi, and, he was one of Chalabi's champions.
Yeah, I know.
The Wolfowitz, Fife, Pearl, all of them were cheering in honor of Chalabi, and he says, the other day, he said, well, he wasn't straight with us. Now, this is this is one of the first mea culpas on that.
Well, let's face it, if you want to believe something, don't believe anything. But the war was sold to the public, however, as necessary to stop a madman who was intent on, here's the key word, amassing an arsenal of weapons, including nuclear weapons. Let's listen to the build-up here.
We know they have weapons of mass destruction. We know they have active programs. There isn't any debate about it.
I believe that Saddam Hussein presents a clear and present danger to the United States of America with his continued pursuit to acquire weapons of mass destruction, and there's very little doubt that he would use them.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
The problem here is that there will always be some uncertainty about how quickly he can acquire a nuclear weapon. But we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
They kept doing this shell game. Whenever they did, they couldn't prove nuclear. They'd say WMD. And then they would throw in the word mushroom cloud to make sure you knew it was nuclear. And then they would come up with this balsa wood drone they said he had, and would somehow deliver it to the United States, and somehow became an existential threat to the United States. That maybe strategic threat is the right word. How did they put it all together?
This was throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what would stick. And they would drop things, come back to them. Depends, I think they tell you.
That's why I believe it had nothing to do with WMD.
Well, I don't think
because you just wanted something to stick to the wall.
I mean, they kept saying, too, this argument, certainty. No doubt he's amassing this. There was plenty of doubt. They kept making it, listen, Saddam Hussein, as you said, is an existential threat.